Okay, we're going to finish off those soundtracks, but here's the deal. I thought I finished off the G's and I didn't. So this video is going to say H through Z, but really there's still a G here. Okay? And that G is The Graduate. Soundtrack by Simon and Garfunkel. You know, this is where Mrs. Robinson came from, but this soundtrack has Sound of Silence, Mrs. Robinson, Scarborough Fair. Yeah, those are probably the biggest hits on here. But yeah, gotta love it. Classic movie. Another one I've never seen, and I really need to see. Got this at Half Price Books for $3.98. Can't go wrong there. All right, this is definitely another Mondo one, and I think that I have the Obi strip in here. Let's see if I can get it out without destroying it. I didn't know how to save these Obi strips before, so here's one of the things. I'm probably going to make a video sometime soon about what to do, how to take care of your vinyl, and like how to, like, just questions that you have when you're new to vinyl. Because, like, for instance, this just got bent in a way that I don't like. You know, it's a mistake I made, but I'm learning. So here's the Obi strip. This is a Mondo release. Oh, I hate that it got bent up there at the bottom. There's the Obi strip on there. I'm going to have to show you something that came with this later because it's in with my 7 inches. But this album, the soundtrack for Josie and the Pussycats, came with a 7-inch record that is Du Jour's music, which if you've ever seen Josie and the Pussycats, there's like a fake boy band in there called Du Jour, which is freaking hilarious. It's got Seth Green in it. It's got the guy who played Turk in Scrubs. I wish I could think of his name right now, but he's awesome. Just really funny stuff. But so that's in with my 7 inches. I'll show it to you later. But this I bought right after the passing of shoot, I just went blank. What's his name? He is. I'm going to look it up. So first of all, let's say this. It comes with this great book with all kinds of information about the movie. Right, kind of a behind the scenes of making the soundtrack and an interview with some of the people related to the movie. There we go. One of the people that worked on this soundtrack and helped write some of the songs, but also produced it, Adam Schlesinger. Adam Schlesinger, I knew from Fountains of Wayne. I know he wrote That Thing You Do, you know, the music for That Thing You Do. But Josie and the Pussycats is one of my favorite movies, you know, musical movies, and he was a part of this soundtrack. And when he passed away, I was really sad, and it was during COVID, and so immediately I was like, I got to get this soundtrack. So I went on Mondo's website and I ordered it. It's a gatefold. It's a single LP, and kind of looks like that on the back. Again, if you've never seen this movie, you really need to see this movie. It's really funny, but it's smart. It makes fun of consumer culture and marketing to kids. It's got this beautiful. This is the vinyl that I got. Just a beautiful album. On one side, it's got Josie and the Pussycats logo. On the other, it's got sort of like the Mondo Records. I think that's what it was called. Mega Records. Mega Records is the record company in the movie, which is kind of like, you know, nefarious in some ways. But yeah, so that's the Josie and the Pussycats soundtrack. And I'll show you the 7-inch when I do my 7-inch video. But yeah, definitely love that one. Anything Mondo does. All right, this is Jesse James soundtrack. Sorry, what's the full name of the movie? The Legend of Jesse James soundtrack featuring Levon Helm, Johnny Cash, Emmylou Harris, Charlie Daniels, and Albert Lee. So they were actually in the movie, and so they have songs in here as well. It's sort of like in those kind of roles. It's a gatefold with all the lyrics and everything like that. Can't go wrong with a cast like that, right? All right, another Mondo. I don't know if this one had an Obi strip. Most of Mondos do. If so, I probably put the Obi strip in here, and hopefully I didn't destroy it like I did the other one. I didn't destroy the other one. I just wish it was better taken care of. Oh, here it is. Oh, good. This one didn't get bent the same way. So this came with this like Obi strip on it. There we go. That's kind of what it looked like. The thing is, if you don't use sleeves, these Obi strips are really hard to store, right? Because they just fall off. They're not really attached. And so me currently working to shelve all these is kind of the plan. So this is the soundtrack for Luke Cage season 2. And I liked the Luke Cage shows. A lot of people didn't, but I did. So this is the scores, track side 1 and side 2. There is a version of The Thrill Is Gone performed by Chris Stone, Kingfish Ingraham. There's a song, King's Paradise, performed by Rakim. There's a song, I Put a Spell on You, performed by Chris Stone, Kingfish Ingram. And then there's Love You Forever Right Now, performed by Joy. If you don't know, Mondo has had like a really phenomenal relationship with Marvel. And they've done a lot of Marvel soundtracks. They do a really great job. This particular soundtrack really has that blaxploitation vibe on it that Luke Cage has at some points, which is fun. There's a little insert here. I think it's just really one page that's got like all the people who were involved in the making, like sort of the musicians. I'll show you what the vinyl looks like in just one second. I don't think Luke Cage gets enough love and enough attention. So this is like a yellow with black smoke. It looks more yellow in person. It looks a little bit like pea soup green on video, but it's yellow. So, I'm, again, a big fan of this, and I think that the show needs more appreciation and the soundtrack, too. Next, we've got Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. This is a rather recent grab. It was a repressing, and I love this soundtrack, so I definitely jumped on it. This is a gatefold again, double LP. I think that I got this from Real Gone Music. This is like a real bright yellow soundtrack. I think they called it like a Yugo yellow after the car. And so who's on the soundtrack? Well, we've got Speed of Sound by Chris Bell. We've got Devendra Banhart doing Lover. Bishop Allen with Middle Management, Vampire Weekend with Ottoman, The Dead 60s with Riot Radio, Taka Taka with Fever, The Submarines with Xavier. This is my song on the soundtrack. We Are Scientists After Hours. This soundtrack made me fall in love with that song. Band of Horses, Our Swords, Army Navy with Silvery Sleds, Richard Hawley with Baby You're My Light, Shout Out Louds with Very Loud, Paul Tiernan with How to Say Goodbye, The Real Tuesday Weld with Last Words, and then the Nick and Nora's theme by Mark Mothersbaugh. Phenomenal soundtrack. Really, really good. All right, so this one, done by Unoriginal Vinyl. Again, I was lucky to get a copy of this because it was like already sold out. I just barely got one, I think, before it was totally gone. This is the soundtrack, Pick It Up, Ska in the 90s. It's a documentary soundtrack. This is the movie that got me back into ska. I just got the black vinyl version. Again, I was lucky to get one at all, but there were some really beautiful pressings of this. Really beautiful like colorways and stuff of this. But this soundtrack's really great. It's got Save Ferris, Real Big Fish, Spring Hill Jack, The Aquabats, Buck 09, The Pie Tasters, The Toasters, 5 Iron Frenzy, MU330, Less Than Jake, Hepcat, Voodoo Glow Skulls, Big D and the Kids Table, Skank and Pickle, Mad Caddies, King Apparatus, Dancehall Crashers, and MC Lars, featuring Suburban Legends and MC Bat Commander. Now, the whole soundtrack's really great, but that last track, This Gigantic Robot Kills, is phenomenal. The movie is really great. If you haven't seen it, you definitely should. If you're interested in it, you should also go back and listen to my podcast. I interviewed several people connected to this film. I interviewed Leonora Ortega Till, who's from 5 Iron Frenzy, and she was one of the producers. I interviewed I interviewed Taylor Morden, the director. I interviewed my good friend, who is also a producer and who owns Unoriginal Vinyl. And I've had him on multiple times, so definitely go check this one out. I highly recommend it. And my mind is blanking right now, and it's driving me crazy. Um, Jason Zyman. Jason, if you see this, I'm so sorry. I don't know. My mind just blanks on names sometimes, and it literally drives me crazy. But Jason Zyman has been a longtime friend of the podcast. We're actually planning another a video very soon. He's been on the podcast like 3 times, and he's a producer and did the soundtrack and runs Unoriginal Vinyl. So, all right, another one of my all-time favorite movies, Say Anything. Say Anything in my top 6 movies of all time, along with Almost Famous and Garden State. This is another Mondo. We've got the Obi strip. This is the expanded motion picture soundtrack. We've got double LP, gatefold. I think the vinyl. So there's this really phenomenal booklet that has like some stuff from Cameron Crowe and John Cusack and kind of all about the making of the soundtrack. And it's a weighty book. So it's on this really bright red vinyl that goes with the name on here. These are the sleeves. So I love that like the cover of this is made to look like a photograph. I love so much about this. Cameron Crowe's my favorite director, and I think probably Zach Braff is a very close second. So I'm just so pleased to have this soundtrack. Now, who's on the soundtrack? We've got Nancy Wilson, we've got Living Colour, Joe Satriani, Cheap Trick, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Peter Gabriel, Depeche Mode, Fishbone, The Replacements, Freiheit, Dave Brubeck, Soundgarden, Aerosmith, Looking Glass, another Fishbone song, The Smithereens, Nancy Wilson, more Nancy Wilson, and of course Peter Gabriel. So can't have the soundtrack without In Your Eyes by Peter Gabriel. We've got a regular version and a live version. And the Fishbone tracks are great on here. It's just a great soundtrack overall. Very big fan of that. All right, next we've got Scott Pilgrim versus the World. This came with a huge poster, which is in my office at work. I love this movie so much. If you don't know, they're about to make an anime adaptation of this on Netflix that is literally the exact same cast because the cast is so perfect for this. The vinyl on this, it's a single LP. It's a bright translucent yellow. I think I got the Envy Adams version. There were versions that definitely were more albums, but I was very happy with this. And to be honest, it was a very expensive soundtrack. But this has We Are Sex Bomb by Sex Bomb. It's got Plumtree. It's got Frank Black. It's got Beachwood Sparks, Black Lips, Crash and the Boys, another band from the movie. Sex Bomb, T-Rex, The Blue Tones, Blood Red Shoe, Metric, Sex Bomb, Broken Social Scene, The Rolling Stones, Beck, and Sex Bomb and Brian LeBarton. Now, if you don't know, Metric was the band that performed the songs with what was their band name? Like Envy Adams Band. I forget what they were even called right now. Again, my mind goes so blank so fast. So Metric does that song Black Sheep. And the songs that were written for Sex Bomb were written by Beck, which is really great. So Scott Pilgrim versus the World, fantastic soundtrack. Next one. This may be the most beautiful album in my collection. It very well may be. Now, that may be just my opinion, but it's my opinion. This is another Mondo record. This is the soundtrack for Solo. Okay? You got the back of the Millennium Falcon right there. You got the front kind of looking through that thing. This is an outer sleeve. So we slide that off. Oh, what just fell out? Is this the... Yep, here's once again the Obi strip. Okay? So we got this, which has like a green inside. The Obi strip. Okay, so now you can see that a little bit better. You can see that on the back. We've got a gatefold. So much color, so vibrant. But the real winner here, there's a little insert. The insert's not a lot to it, but the real winner here is this absolutely stunning vinyl pressing. Look at that. I mean, it's like you're in hyperspace. It's so gorgeous. You cannot complain about that colorway at all. It is so beautiful. And it is, yeah, Genuinely, the first time I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, you have got to be kidding me. That's beautiful. So this is the score for Solo, which is a phenomenal score. I'm super thankful once again, as always, to have a copy of this. They've done some really great Star Wars soundtracks. And so, there we go. Then we have The Sound of Music. Gotta love The Sound of Music, right? I actually sing a song from this to my kids at school a lot of times when they're leaving the building. I say, so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, adieu. Adieu, adieu, to you and you and you. Then we've got the soundtrack for South Pacific. I actually have two of these. This is the film version, right? Academy Award-winning film version, RCA Victor. Original soundtrack recording. Right, so that's the film version of South Pacific. And let's see what this is. I don't know why I have two of these. I think this is the original Broadway recording. Let's see here. Yes, with the original Broadway cast. That's what that is there. So, both of those, yard sales, that kind of stuff. So, next, we've got Into the Spider-Verse, right? Phenomenal soundtrack. My son loved this soundtrack so much when it came out. I, of course, loved it too. This is just black vinyl. It's a single LP, but every track on here is fire. It's got What's Up Danger, right? Featuring, oh goodness, am I going to be able to read that? Blackway and Black Caviar, I think that's what it is. Sunflower, right? Featuring Post Malone and Sway Lee. Gotta love that one. Way Up by Jaden Smith. Familia is one of my favorites on here with Nicki Minaj. Angel AA featuring Kanto. Yeah, something like that. Invincible, Start a Riot, Hide. Every song on here, really, really good. Right? Then another Mondo release, and this is a video game soundtrack, which I don't do many of. This is the Spider-Man Miles Morales video game soundtrack. Right, so we got our Obi strip. Opens up. Gatefold, double LP. Right, so most of this is just score. But on disc 2 side B, we do have 3 actual tracks. We've got I'm Ready, performed by Jaden. And we've got Where We Come From and This Is My Time, performed by Lecrae. I love Lecrae. And I'm Ready by Jaden is an absolutely killer track. This is beautiful vinyl. Again, Mondo, just absolutely stunning records. Now, I mentioned this before, that Mondo is supposedly, so it got purchased by Funko, and supposedly they're going to build a plant in California to make records. And I am for that. Some people are a little upset by some of the stuff that's going on with Mondo. We got Prowler colors on that one. But I'm for that because I want more of this high quality, beautiful vinyl records. Some people think this will be the end of that. And some people are kind of upset about the way some people were treated in that transition in the company. I can't speak to that. I don't know enough about it. But I do love their vinyl. All right, next one we got the Empire Strikes Back soundtrack. This is the original soundtrack for the movie. This was yard sale or something. I don't know. It does have, these are like pages glued down here, which is kind of fun. There's like a little booklet here on the inside. And it's single LP. It's going to be black vinyl. It's definitely an older pressing. 1989, maybe? Repress or whatever. Then we've got the Symphonic Suite from The Empire Strikes Back from the National Philharmonic Orchestra. Going on here. Got this at a yard sale too. I don't know why, both of these are Empire Strikes Back. I don't have any Return of the Jedi or any Star Wars, but I do plan on fixing that. And my last soundtrack, my very last one, Tron Legacy. I love this soundtrack so much. I was like, I have to get it. And when it came into Target, I couldn't find it. I couldn't get it. I was kind of stressing out. I think my mom went and picked it up for me. And then it became like it was everywhere. But this is Target Target's version. Beautiful. But if you don't know this soundtrack, the music's by Daft Punk. And they are amazing. And of course, recently kind of called it quits. So that just makes it even more something you want. So it's electronic music and it's phenomenal. Okay. This is a 20-minute video. The last one was like 16, 17 minutes. That's a lot of soundtracks. And then we had a few compilations before that. Coming up, we've still got Christmas music, which I have a lot of, some children's music, and some 7-inches. Those are going to be some big videos. In fact, I may have to break up the Christmas music into 2 videos. We'll see. But keep coming by to see more of my record collection.